disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams, like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life, Noah's dream of climbing the ladder, or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life. Noah's dream of climbing the ladder. Or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we...
And there were 3 red cards in that game. 3 red cards.
You could see it on their faces, like they would hit the post again, and they'd be like, "What is happening?"
And they only gave up 4 goals
But it wasn't
in
competitive.
40 minutes.
It wasn't competitive.
4 goals.
A sign that a fan has made, a fan of Calvin Futsal made it. Chicago House is grabbing the sign, holding it up, and they're passing it around.
The ball sticks to his feet. Like, I don't think that you should have seen him at practice last night. He was just toying with this. I ain't gonna lie.
What level of crazy do you need to be a goalkeeper in futsal?
11. 11. No one woke up one day and said, I want to be a keeper today. I didn't want to be a goalie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third half presented by Jolt Creativity. I almost just called this the Jolt Podcast. I was like, wait, the name of this podcast is the third half presented by Jolt Creativity. Destroy the lie that says, I am not creative. As you can see, I'm welcoming a very special guest from Lansing City. We'll talk about him in just a second to come. We have a special guest from Ole Women's Club. and ahead of their play-in match against the Lansing City women. And we're going to talk playoffs. We got playoffs this weekend, quarterfinals, and the women don't do the play until next week along with the men's semis. But we have hit that time. It is the postseason. The games make huge difference. Win or go home. This is super exciting. But first, please join me in welcoming to the show David Saltsman of Lansing City. David, thank you so much for jumping on the show tonight.
For sure.
So glad to have you here, man. So it's not often that I get to welcome someone on the show who's not only someone that I've known for a period of time, but I call a friend, a close friend, at points in our lives. And got to play sports with you growing up. Is so cool to have you here and talk about like what your experience is like. For those of you tuning in, I think David has a really, really cool story about kind of how he got to where he is. Some of you know a little about his futsal history and everything. But when we talk about on the broadcast, this is a guy who gives his 110% every single time, all the time. You're going to find out tonight that this is no doubt, this is built in. And in fact, it's like kind of why you're here. Nothing was really given to you as far as, how that goes for you. So let's start kind of from the beginning. When did futsal come into the picture for you? I know you grew up playing soccer, so tell us a little bit about those early times.
Yeah, so I guess futsal kind of came in around like late 2015, early 2016. So it's kind of a late jump for somebody who plays futsal. It's like kind of a late start. You don't expect a whole lot from somebody starting that late. But with Lansing City and everything that Jeremy's built here, it's like we're really blessed to have this place and like be able to do the things that we do. So I mean, getting into futsal at that age, like that was a big blessing in my life. Like I don't know where my life would be, like where I'd be right now without it. Like it's so like awesome just to experience. Like I didn't even know what it was before that, and now it's like everything that I do.
Yeah.
So it's like really cool.
Yeah. So and like how old were you when you joined into futsal?
I was 16.
16.
Yep.
Okay. So 16. And you played soccer before that. So what was your experience, soccer, kind of leading into futsal?
Yeah, so my experience with soccer was like I started playing when I was 11 or 12. Homeschool soccer, like junior high. Never played like the first like 3 years. I didn't play any club or anything like that. And then it's like around like 15, 16. I joined a club, but it's like the club scene is like not, I don't know, it wasn't for me. There was a lot of stuff that went on that like really wasn't beneficial for me, so it didn't really work out. But like high school soccer is where I like really found a love for the game, really. And I played for a homeschool team out of Lansing called the LA Dragons. I think you know them.
I think I do.
Yeah. We had some good success in our days. And then I transitioned from soccer to futsal, and I haven't played soccer since I was 18 years old. So at this point in my life, I've played futsal longer than I've played soccer.
Wow.
Which is wild to think of.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's pretty crazy. So that was kind of your background, got into futsal. Now, when you got into futsal, you were coming from outdoor. When we played together, you were center back.
Yeah.
There's no center back position in futsal.
No, there's not.
So what was that like for you coming into futsal and trying to figure out where you fit?
It was weird because it's like I never played goalie or anything either. So I always played like a center back or like a defensive position, so like a defensive mid or something like that. And then I started playing futsal, and my coach, you might know him at that time, just kind of was like, "You're a goalie," and I was like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Yeah, you are." So I played goalie for 8 years. Pretty like I don't like this. But I did it because I did enjoy it when it was going well. I didn't enjoy it when it wasn't going well. But yeah, so it was like, and then the transition from that to the where we are now is pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So you started when you came into futsal. It was right to the goalkeeper position.
Yeah.
It was
right to. I never touched the court not one time.
Wow.
I tried, no matter how hard I tried, it never happened for me.
Never happened.
No.
So that was kind of tough. You didn't really want to play goalie.
No, I didn't.
But you did. You kind of did it at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, there was moments where it was like, okay, I want to do this.
Yeah.
But then it was like there were other moments where it was like I just didn't have the passion to play goalie. Like, even though I had the ability, I didn't have the passion or the desire, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it can be fun at times, but then it's not like ingrained in me to be like, I'm a goalie.
Yeah.
You know, like the instincts were there for certain parts of the game, but it was just the desire to do it wasn't there.
Okay. Yeah. And so when we were watching the intro play and you heard Jose Vicario, you got to be 11 out of 10 crazy. You were like, yeah, you do.
Yeah, 100%, dude. You got to be a psychopath to do that and do it for a long time. Training is brutal. Playing is brutal. You're just taking shots, man. Like,
yeah.
You think about like standing in a wall, like free kick. You're standing 5 meters away.
Yeah.
And you got court players turning their bodies and like hiding their faces, and it's like that's a goalie's whole job. It's to stand there and not turn their face and keep their eyes open and get hit by the ball. And it's like everybody else on the court is scared. For that.
Yeah.
And the goalie's just like, that's
so if you don't have like the passion for it, you're probably not gonna
you're not gonna want to do that for very long.
Yeah. But you stuck with it for a long time.
Yeah, 8 years is a long time, especially since it's not something I did when I was really young.
Yeah.
So
it's not even in outdoor where you
between
the posts.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Never.
So then that brings you to it wasn't just in like academy and youth that you were goalkeeper. Like you played goalkeeper for the Lansing City men's side for a number of years. Both before FCS and during FCS, I think.
Yeah, I think I played the first couple seasons of FCS in that.
Okay.
When was the first year we did FCS?
I don't have it off the top of my head. No.
I don't know. I think I did 2 years of FCS as a goalkeeper. Then the third year I changed to the court. Then fourth year I would have changed back. So we're 2026. I think first year is 2021. No, so I played first season as goalkeeper, second season court, and then I switched back to court.
Yeah.
Or no,
back
then I switched back to goalkeeper, and now I'm in my second consecutive season as a court player.
So if you're watching in chat, please draw a diagram of that journey and put it up there. We're going to grade you guys.
It's hard to follow.
It was like last year in the summer, and I think it was the national showcase. We were trying to determine like who was going to go on, and it was like there was all these possibilities because not everyone played each other, so we had to get into tiebreakers. It was nuts. But anyways, so what was that like for you, the transition to the court? Because it sounds like it was like a multiple point process where you went back and forth. Describe that journey.
Yeah, so I mean, it was never easy. There's still a lot of learning and growing that needs to happen with me as a player and mentally and stuff like that. But I mean, the switch for me, like the passion was there. Like this is something that I look forward to every single day.
Wow.
Like the passion to train on my own is there. Like that wasn't there as a goalkeeper. Like I didn't want to do that. It was just something that I felt I had to do. But yeah, from year one to now, personally, the growth that I feel is tremendous. Like, I mean, I could barely receive the ball and pass year one.
Wow.
Like, I sat on the bench and watched everybody else play and was like, this is stupid. The only thing that hasn't changed is probably my defending. Defending is always something that came natural. Like, it's just, it makes sense in my brain. Everything defensively makes sense. It's where, like, I thrive, I feel like. Attacking-wise has always been difficult because I'm not naturally gifted. Like everything that I do, I have to work really hard at.
Yeah.
Not saying that other people don't. There's a lot of really talented guys that work really hard at where they are.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, growing up, it was like I played center back because I was fast, physical, and knew how to defend. Like there wasn't
not because you were technical and could
yeah,
keep the ball in tight spaces.
Exactly. So it's like I wasn't put in places that challenged me to be technical when I was growing up. So all right, now age 21 or 22 or whatever, and it's like, okay, here, now you're going to play futsal against some of the best players in the area. And it's like, oh, okay, let me figure this out. Like,
yeah.
You can imagine that didn't go so well at the start.
Yeah.
So, and I still have my struggles now. There's a lot of places where I need to improve, but it's definitely I'm growing. So that's a positive, and I'm excited.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, it's great to be excited to get on the floor and do that, have that passion for it. Describe to me what it was like when you look back at when you first came on the floor as a court player to like where you have been this season.
Yeah.
One, like, what are the biggest differences you see? And two, how did you get from A to B?
Well, one of the biggest differences is when I started the season, I was playing Futsal.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And now I'm playing Pivot. So that's two completely I just flipped.
Yeah.
Which I'm much more comfortable at Pivot. I don't know. I like Pivot. It's fun.
That's awesome. That's great.
How I got there, I don't know. I feel like there's a couple different ways. I don't know how to explain them,
sure.
but like
yeah.
There was a struggle mid-season. I didn't do so well. I was having some technical issues, and then we switched, and I had some success at Pivot, and now I think that's kind of I think I like that, and I think it works well for the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. That's great. If you had to encourage anybody who's in the position where maybe like they have to work really hard to be able to play at this level and this speed like you did, what kind of insight would you give to like encourage those people to do that same, dedication, that same work? Because it's clear. I mean, I think you told me before you came on, like when you looked at where you were when you first came on the court to now, you're like, I think you said I was horrible.
Yeah, I was terrible. It was bad. It was really bad.
So, so going from that, and it wasn't just like an overnight, like, oh, I just need to put 3 months in and like accommodate my skills. It was like you took, now you're 3 or 4 years removed from that.
Yeah. And
you're starting to see some big fruit from it. What kept you going during those times of just training throughout the years?
Just my passion for the game. If you really love something, you'll work for it, right? So it's like there's moments where it's like I'd be better off, like I felt like I had these thoughts in my brain where I was like, I'd be better off if I stopped playing futsal and I just committed to working a full-time job and just put all my efforts into that and growing like financially. But it's like that doesn't drive me. Like that, I don't have a love for that. I have love for futsal, and every time I thought about that, I was like, well, then what am I going to do? I can't play futsal. That sucks. So it's like, I think in those moments where it's like I had lows where it's like, this is really hard, I'm not really having success, it's just identifying those points where it's like, why am I not having success? What's the problem? And then applying that to training and working on those specific areas. What has really helped me.
Wow. What's been the best part of your journey in futsal?
Seeing the growth of the sport. I think the FCS, the growth of that and like the competitiveness between the teams is really like exciting to see. Like it was there before, but like the structure wasn't great. Like we playing on small courts was not like, it's not fun. So it's nice to see like teams putting an effort to get full-size courts and play real futsal.
Yeah. So
like that's really cool. And then seeing like the growth of like young kids coming up through academies, like even for other teams, like seeing guys that I remember playing against as a goalie in the youth academy for like They played for ABK. Now it's Olay. But, like, they have some guys that I remember playing against as a kid.
Wow.
Where it's, like, it's cool to see, like, people still love the game
Yeah.
after all this time. And it's not just me here. And it's, like, it's happening everywhere else, too. Like, people love this game. And it's really cool to see.
That's awesome. That's so cool. What do you think was the biggest challenge for you in your journey of futsal?
My biggest challenge,
Biggest challenge, or maybe like you could kind of think of like a longer challenge, and maybe that would just be like the development onto the court, or maybe like a specific moments that was like really kind of like a down period that was like this was a tough time to like navigate.
I'd say the toughest point was probably early on when I switched from goalkeeper to court, was sitting on the bench and watching everybody else play because I was not very good. So when I look back now, I'm like, that's fair. But in that moment, it didn't feel that way.
Right, yeah.
It felt like I'm better than these guys is how I felt on the inside. But technically I wasn't. So that was something that kind of drove me to work really hard to get better.
Yeah.
So that was really hard. But, you know, I think in the end it was probably best for me to sit there and watch other guys play. And it built that, kind of lit that fire.
Yeah.
Same thing happened when I played goalkeeper. I sat behind Danny Bugar for 4 years. I sat behind him. I think I saw the court maybe once or twice for like 5 minutes, and then I was out because it did not go well.
Wow.
But it's things like that where it's like it can either keep you there or you can grow from it. And it's just a decision you make, and I felt like I made the decision to grow.
Wow. You know, I think it's I feel like from watching the games, it seems pretty clear that when it comes to like leaders on the team, I feel like you are a player who definitely steps up in moments to like lead the team and instruct in different areas, and to encourage. Did you ever see yourself getting to that point where like you've put in the work, you're now able to play and compete? You know, in some of the games this year, you've been starting for Lansing City. If you haven't, you're usually, you know, one of the anchors of the second line.
Yeah.
And you're at the point now where you're encouraging others and helping teach them, and holding them to a standard. Did you ever see yourself in that position?
No, not really. Like when I was younger, I didn't really that didn't really cross my mind. I always just wanted to play. So it was always just a passion to play. And then growing through like technical and then maturity, like it just, I kind of grew into that, I think.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot to learn. So it's not like I'm exclusive to anybody else telling me something that they see that I can work on. I love it when young guys come up to like Jack Fisher. You ask Jack Fisher a question, he'll talk for years about something. Or you ask him a question, he'll explain it in detail. Like, here's what's going on. And he's like 17.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have no problem like taking advice or, you know, people pointing out spots in my game that I need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, I like that, and I expect that from everybody else. So it's like when I give instruction for everybody else, it's not like out of selfish conceit. It's like I would expect them to do the same.
Yeah.
Because it's not to bring anybody down. It's to try and build each other up.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
So, and I think some of our younger guys like Jack Fisher and Drew Barney and some of those younger guys that are working really hard right now are on their way to like be those anchors too.
Yeah. Wow. So let's talk a little bit about this season for you guys in our last few minutes here. What has been, if you had to say for you guys in the journey to, you know, where you're at now, ending the year at 5-5, heading to the quarterfinals, hosting a playoff match, which you guys missed out on the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Tell me about, well, first briefly, tell me about how you guys ended last year and how you guys, after the season ended last year, you guys missed the playoffs. Where, you know, what happened to bring you guys to the point where, you know, you started off this year with, you know, whatever expectations you have? Tell me about that off-season journey.
Yeah, so the way we ended last year, there was a lot of glaring holes in our game as a team. A lot of it was technical. So we kind of went into the offseason knowing, okay, this is an area we have to improve on. So the challenge for everybody was to improve technically, and there were requirements from the team if players wanted to continue to play, that there was requirements that they had to meet in terms of training on their own and in the off season, and everybody met those requirements. So technically the level is better this year for us. Challenging players to improve in that area was huge. Players are more comfortable on the ball. So it opens up some stuff for us. We're able to play more than one line. We can play 2 lines now, which is really huge. Gives some guys some rest. And then I think that's been the biggest thing, is just players improving individually and technically, because the ideas are there. But last year it was a struggle to bring them out.
Yeah. Do you think this year has gone according to like the expectations you guys had at the beginning of the year?
I think it depends on I don't know. I think for me, if you look at win-loss, like I didn't expect us to be 5-5. Like I thought we'd be better, but I'm not ungrateful for where we are. Like we're in the playoffs. We have the opportunity to keep playing. So
yeah.
I'm happy for that. I'm excited for that. I think if I could go back, like I want to say I would train harder, but like I don't know where I'd find time to do that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think we're set up pretty good right now.
Yeah.
There's still some stuff as a team we have to continue to work on, but right now we're focused on playoffs. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So last question, and then I want to just briefly ask you about like this quarterfinal game you guys have coming up just in a couple of days. When I talked with Coach Matt Alashari at one point this season, he described some of your games in play like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Some big ups and some lows. What has been the key for you guys collectively to push for a consistent, high level of play?
I think it's just preparation. Players, how they prepare for the game leading up to the game. I think early on in the season our preparation was pretty poor from like a mental and physical standpoint. And I'm not talking about like training. I'm talking about like leading up to the games, like, staying hydrated, stretching, eating the right foods, drinking water, stuff like that. I think early on in the season it was just poor, and we weren't, maybe not early on in the season, but like kind of midway through. Like we had those first 3 games where we did well.
Yeah.
And then there was like a slump.
Yeah.
Like I think we got comfortable and we're like, oh, like it worked. Like it worked. We did good this offseason, and now we're beating teams. And it's like there's a lack of focus. So the preparation goes down, and we had a little, just that midseason was not good. It was bad. But I think players are more locked in now, I guess is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
So the preparation's a little better,
I
think.
So now tell me a little bit about where you guys are at coming into this game. You're hosting Jinga once again. You guys hosted them on November 8th. You won 8-2. And now you get to host them for a quarterfinal. Everything in this season is wiped clean. You got to win this game or you go home. Everyone has that opportunity. Tell me a little bit about where you guys, where you're at mentally coming into this game and how you're feeling about it.
We're excited. Jinga's not the same team they were when we played them earlier in the season, I don't think. I've watched them play a couple times. They look more confident. My expectation is that they come in and they're prepared. And my expectation for my team is that we're going to be prepared. We're not the same team that we were at the start of the season. Neither are they. So I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm excited to play them.
That's awesome. Well, I know I'm excited to see you guys play one of the 2 quarterfinals this weekend. Of course, the other one is going to be in Detroit, Chicago House, traveling there. The surprise team of the playoffs getting in at the very end. We talked a little bit about that last week. Awesome. David Saltsman, thanks so much for joining the show.
Yes, sir.
Any final comments or thoughts leading up to the postseason for you guys?
Go City.
Hey, there you go. Awesome. Well, we have another special guest coming up in not too long, so stick around. We're going to cut to a quick ad break, and on the other side, from Olay Futsal Club Women, one of their players is going to be jumping on. So don't go anywhere.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life, Noah's dream of climbing the ladder, or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life, Noah's dream of climbing the ladder, or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the third half on this amazing Thursday night. I'm Jared Kleppel. Hey, we just got done with an awesome interview with David Saltsman of Lansing City. If you missed it, go back and check it out. One of the hardest workers in the FCS, and got to learn a little bit about his story from goalkeeper and futsal to the court, back and forth. So definitely check it out if you missed it. But now we are going into our second special guest of the night. She is from originally not Grand Rapids. We'll find a little bit more about that. But currently plays for Ole Futsal Club in Grand Rapids and helped them get to that number 2 in the league. So they are in the play-in game in a couple of weeks to see who will face off against Chicago House in the final. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the show Ashley Ladner of Chicago House, not Chicago House, of Ole, who is going to hopefully, you're trying to go play Chicago House. I don't know if that was a good save or not. From Ole. Thank you for joining the show, Ashley. Awesome. I think I accidentally muted you. Okay, now you're good. There we go. Now everyone can hear you. So, Ashley, tell me a little bit about how you got into futsal. I heard that you have been playing futsal for a relatively extended period of time, maybe comparatively to some other people in the league.
Yeah. When I was younger, I played futsal probably in middle school, but it was nothing to the extent of what I'm doing now. It was just kind of a side thing. Our club had a futsal organization and all that, and I always loved futsal. I'm very technical. I wouldn't say I'm very athletic, so I felt like the futsal court was always where I was supposed to be, but just college soccer was always a big thing, club soccer, and I never really knew there was anything like this or if it was like this back then. So I kind of went my way, and then I have now found it in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and so that time period was you're originally from New York, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I am from New York. I'm from Long Island, New York. And I moved to Grand Rapids about 7 months ago. And yeah, I thought I was never gonna really touch a soccer ball again after I graduated college. And I have now fell back in love with a different version of soccer thanks to Ole. So
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about your journey in the soccer world. You went and played at the college. Tell me a little bit about that.
yeah, so I actually went to 3 different colleges, surprisingly. I went to University of Buffalo my freshman and sophomore season. I was the COVID season my freshman year, which I personally am thankful for. Not COVID, but the opportunity it gave me. It was a really high level, and I think I was just kind of shocked of how high of a level it was. And I really wanted somewhere that I could excel and play. And I liked the program, but I decided it was better for me if I transferred. So then I transferred to University of Albany, which I absolutely loved it. I was there for most of my college soccer career. My team was pretty good. I played a lot of minutes and I had a really good experience. And then for my 5th year, I did end up going closer to home. I went to school, Wagner in Staten Island. Really good experience as well. Finished the highest they've ever done in program history and kind of just wrapped it up. And yeah, so that's about it.
And where did you play position wise in on the field?
I've always played center mid, like either the 6, 8, or 10, all of them. My senior year of college, I kind of got moved around a lot, like wing back, outside forward, center forward, just kind of where I was needed. But I'm definitely a center midfielder.
Tell me about your experience playing futsal growing up, and how did the sports kind of like compete for your time or attention, and what was that like for you?
Not really. It didn't compete because for us, it was always club soccer came first because futsal was an extension of that club soccer. It was all through the same program. We had our own facility and everything. It was super fun. Like I would learn like specific futsal moves. I even would go to like regional tournaments like in Atlantic City, which was super cool. Our Olay women's team just went back to that tournament this year and I was reliving my childhood again. It was super fun and a really great experience. I'm super happy I did it. But yeah, I was always pro soccer, but I'm sure futsal did help me with my technical skills on the field, my IQ, and honestly, I just love futsal. Like I love the small court. I love small sided. It's my favorite. So
tell me about this connection with Olay. So you moved to Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
You know, what took you there and how did you connect with Olay?
So I moved to Grand Rapids and I kind of just started making like connections. I would play pickup soccer and all that. I was just kind of looking to meet people, to have fun. And then I started to meet some girls that played on Olay and I ended up going to practice and I did join the team and instantly I was, as much as I say I wanted a break from competitive soccer, I can't help myself. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Competitive soccer at a high level. It's small-sided, which I love. It's futsal. It'll be super fun. So I decided to do that. And then I think the first practice even Fabian asked me if I coached, which I have been coaching for many years now. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And it's just kind of immersed me into the Olay culture. And I've honestly, the people that I work with and I surround myself with, I am super happy that I met them because I don't have a lot of people out here. So
what originally brought you to Grand Rapids?
Actually my boyfriend plays for Michigan Rangers over the summer and he's from Germany and he wanted to come back to the States and they asked him if he wanted to be a GA at Davenport. So I was like, I'll make the move. So
wow, okay.
Yep,
So you
kind of a leap of faith. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
you go
starting
to Grand
my
Rapids.
I'm starting my first full-time job, moved in with my boyfriend, and just finished college soccer, which basically was my whole entire life, soccer up until this moment. So definitely a lot of changes. So I'm happy that I found Olay and it's given me kind of a purpose other than work and all that. Yeah.
So connect with Olay. Now you guys, you start to play with them and your coaching. Tell me a little bit about what your coaching experience has been like this year.
Yeah, I have loved coaching for Olay. I coach the 2017s and it's around the same age I teach. I'm a second grade teacher. So it's definitely fun. I also get to coach with another player on our team, Leslie Luna. We shared the court and she has also helped me a lot with understanding Olay's system and futsal in total. And I also just love her as a person. So it's been a really great experience. And I've loved watching my girls grow because futsal really is a mental sport, and it takes a lot mentally. So it's not just how good they are, watching them put the pieces together have been so great. And not only for them, it's helping me put the pieces together because I play with girls that have been playing for Fabian and Olay forever. So it does kind of feel hard sometimes to try and fit into that system. But coaching has kind of helped me mold my playing style into theirs.
Yeah, that was actually one of the questions I wanted to ask was
Yeah.
about this, transition to playing with the Ole women's team. In the FCS, this was the first women's first year that we had the women's league.
Yeah.
And for the other 3 teams, some teams have had experience playing together, but it was kind of, for most of them, it was sort of a newer thing. And for Ole, it was a lot different. So you're entering into that, playing for Ole, but, surrounded by many people who have been playing together for a long time. What was it like for you entering into that, trying to get to know, the team and kind of get, acclimated?
Yeah, it was like futsal wise, getting acclimated was definitely hard for me at first just because like I'm very like mental player. So having to think about all of the things I have to remember, like plays, rotations, all of that while I was trying to like perform was a little challenging, but I definitely think I have slowly like fit together with the girls I play with and the system in total. And then honestly, the girls on the team and Fabian and the whole Ole club has been great. I really have no complaints. I'm also a very outgoing person, so I was like, well, I'm here, like I'm your teammate, be friends with me, please. So
Okay,
yeah.
awesome. When you started, how many trainings did you guys have before the season began? Because I know some of the teams in the league like didn't have as a lot of time. Was it kind of a quick thing for you guys, or did you have some time before to kind of prepare?
We honestly had a decent amount of trainings before. We trained once a week, so nothing crazy, but also we weren't really sure. A lot of people were coming back because I have like children on my team compared to me, like 13-year-olds. So like coming back from whatever they were doing and all that. So it was a small group of us at first, but we had some time to prepare and all that, but nothing prepares you for actually playing. Like I remember my first game at the homeschool building in Grand Rapids. I was just like mind blown by the amount of people there, just the atmosphere. And yeah, I was just not expecting it. So my first game definitely kind of woke me up, and now I feel a lot better.
What was that first game? Well, who did you guys play?
I actually missed the first game of the season, but that first game that I played in at home was against, I want to say Shoreline.
Okay.
And it was just, Shoreline. It was just nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the expectations of you all and the team coming into this year? And do you feel like this year has like met those expectations?
Yeah, the expectations were just to kind of, we knew this was our first year in the women's league. It was kind of just like set a tone, start to develop Ole's system within us, and kind of get a good understanding of what we stand for and how we're going to move forward. I definitely think once we reached the Chicago Houses games, we were kind of woken up again as well. I think we were kind of getting a little complacent, but it's playoff season, so who knows?
Yeah, everything is wiped away,
Yeah.
and everyone is playing, the game in front of them, win or go home. Tell me a little bit about what it was like for you all, winning your first few games. I think you were at 3-0 or 4-0 when you faced Chicago for the first time. You faced them back-to-back in a six-day span away and then at home, and I think they win by 6 or 7 both times. What was that experience like for you guys?
It was definitely tough. I mean, the first game when we were away, I know it was kind of being away like 3 hours is kind of a lot. We were definitely missing some of our girls, but even on top of that, that first game, like I really, truly, I think they did great, but I really think we should have had that game. I think if we had that game, we finished our opportunities. I think even the next game would have been a different story. I think that really put, as much as we were like, let's turn things around, it's tough when you just came off that big of a loss, And I definitely think that first game, if we could have I think so. Someone on the Chicago House even said it, like first 10 minutes, like we had them. There was an opportunity when it was only 3-0 to put it away. We didn't put it away. There was a bunch of them we didn't put away. And I think it would have been a very different game, especially because I think futsal is very mental, and momentum is a big part of it.
Yeah.
But that second game, I'll give it to them. They did very well.
Yeah, what was it? What was it like playing in that second game? You felt like that
Yeah.
first one you guys had some missed opportunities, but
Mhm.
the second one you guys at home. What's it like?
Mhm.
With those two games now in the books,
Yeah.
and you have a playing game to try to get to the championship, so you can't skip over that one. But what do you think it's going to take to bring down the Chicago House ladies team?
I think from what I've taken away from it, I honestly do really think they are all very individually very skilled. They are super, super athletic. But I think what Ole has is their tactics, their ability to play together, all that. So I think if we can piece that together and finish our opportunities, because even in that second game, there was like a brief 10-minute period where we were like all over them. It's really just like taking that momentum and sealing the deal and like having them put their heads down for a chance, you know?
Yeah, so I would assume that these two moments of losing to Chicago were probably the toughest moments for you all.
Yeah.
What were some of the best moments of the year?
The best moments of the year. It's a good question. Best moments of the year. I think playing at home that first game with all of the fans, the atmosphere was really great. I don't really know. Like all of them have been so great. I can't necessarily pick a moment. I'm hoping there's going to be a better moment in the playoffs, but yeah, I'm hoping I actually did hurt myself in the last Chicago game. I had to come out, I think, with like 15 minutes left, but yeah, so I'm hoping I'm getting in for the playoffs right now because from what I know, I have a sprained PCL. So it's getting better every day, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hopefully you're able to play
I know.
in that playing game. Tell me about, you mentioned this environment a couple of times that, you've entered into playing at Home School Building. What is this environment like for anyone that's either not played there or been there? What's it like as a player walking into that environment and playing in front of, that support?
It's really great, but at the same time, like I said, I'm a very mental player. So there is a lot of fans there. So if we are necessarily playing against a Chicago team and they are doing well, it's hard for me. But at the same time, I love the atmosphere. Obviously, I want people to show up for our games. And for someone that doesn't have a lot of people here to come support me, it's great that there's a community. Also, last game, it was so cute. My team of 2017-year-old girls came with like signs and all that.
Wow.
And they were like, they were good, Coach Ashley. I was like, I know, guys.
Wow. Tell me more about your coaching of this 2017s. What's that been like for you throughout this year?
It's been really great. The girls have been so great. I have seen so much growth. I do coach the B team. So having room for growth was very much there. So there was so much growth. The feedback I got made me feel like I was really making a difference. I do private training for a couple of them too. And I could really, like at that age, they're literally sponges. So really any kind of direct feedback and all that, you could really see them benefit and their confidence is crazy. So I definitely think this season for futsal will benefit them moving forward. And I think that for any age too, like futsal will really benefit you in the long run.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Let's move our attention a little bit to this playing game next week. You guys will be facing Lansing. Tell me, I think you missed the first one, but you played in the second one against them. What's the outlook coming into this game against Lansing to try to face Chicago in the finals?
I think we're going to take it one game at a time. Lansing honestly gave us a little bit of a fight in the beginning of that second game from what I can remember. I think creating our opportunities going forward is going to be really important. I'm super excited to play in the Lansing arena because I haven't been able to do that yet.
Oh, you guys are going to be playing in the arena.
Yeah.
Oh, so even though it's a home game for you all,
there was scheduling, but it's going to be in the arena, which I'm happy about, anyways. But
okay, are your teammates happy as well, or?
I don't know. I haven't talked to them about it, but maybe not because then it's a farther drive.
Right. And you guys, fans and
I
that
didn't think about
kind of thing.
Yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, never say never, but I think we are gonna show up. We're gonna play hard, and I think hopefully we come out with the win. I think I want to put some more away. That's something I want to do more this season, finish my chances. And yeah, I want us to win, and I want us to see Chicago again because, third time's the charm,
Yeah, it's a tricky thing in sports like this to face a team 3 times in a year, and to win all 3 times. That can be a difficult thing. I see a comment here in the chat. Your teammate Kirsten says, "Vamos, Ashley." She's excited for you. Someone asked in the chat the matches in Lansing. Yeah, so that's what I'm hearing from Ashley here. The matches in Lansing because of some scheduling things. So that does kind of make it interesting because essentially the advantage of the 2 seed is kind of goes away. But you do play in the arena, which is a cool experience. For you who haven't played here yet, that'll be cool for that to happen.
Am I leaking information?
I don't know.
I don't think it's that important.
We're gonna find out. If whoever's in chat here, if you guys are the first to find out, you can post to your Facebook and your stories and everything, and make sure everybody knows now.
I will say Chicago House has definitely not seen the best of us. I can promise you that. Both of those games, we did not at all. They played very well, but that was not even close to our best. Like, I am telling you, this team and we went to Atlantic City and we played some of the top talent, and we showed up and we played hard. And that's what we need to do when we play Chicago House. I think we're very much in our heads and we can't be. And I think it's going to be a good game this time. I really do.
Yeah. Well, we got that one in between to face off against Lansing to get there.
You are right.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
we want to get there.
Of course. Yep. You also have another friend joining in from Long Island that said hi. I don't know. I think it's Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Jack.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. You'll have to look at that later.
Yes.
But got some shout outs in the chat here.
Nice. Shout out, chat.
Awesome. So we have just a couple more minutes here. What do you think is going to be, for you, do you see yourself continuing to be involved in futsal with Olay, for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, for sure. Now that I'm done with college soccer, futsal is now my new hobby, my new passion. I really love futsal, and I definitely see myself playing it at a high level. And I never knew there would be an opportunity for me to do that, but I love it, and I'm super excited to do it.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time and for joining the show. Any final comments before we let you go here?
No, that's it.
Awesome.
Vamos,
well,
Olay.
Ashley Ladner of Olay Futsal, not Chicago House, like I said at the beginning,
no.
of Olay, joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to cut to a quick ad break. On the other side, it is talking more about playoffs and what those matchups are going to be like. So don't go anywhere.
We're NMDP, and we're out here saving lives, relentlessly seeking donors so patients can live their dreams. Like Mia's dream of finding a match and pressing play on life, Noah's dream of climbing the ladder, or Zoe's dream of a tiny house and a giant dog. Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people, and the donor we need could be you.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Together, we have the power to cure blood disorders like leukemia and sickle cell disease. But we need more donors, people. And the donor we need could be you.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Welcome back, everyone, to the third half. We've got some playoffs to talk about. The quarterfinals are this weekend. 2 games to talk about. Before we do that, if you missed our 2 interviews of the show, go back and take a look. We interviewed David Saltsman of Lansing City at the beginning, and then Ashley Ladner of Olay Futsal. Just wrapped that up a few minutes ago, so be sure to go and take a look if you'd like. It is now time to talk about the quarterfinals. We have made it there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the finals. The final of the season. Final portion of the season. Not the finals. Not the finals yet. The quarterfinals is where we will find ourselves this coming Saturday. 2 games. One's going to be hosted by Lansing versus Jinga. The other one will be hosted by Detroit versus Chicago. If you are in the chat, let me know what you think is going to be the biggest story of this weekend. Do you see any surprises? Do you expect things to go according to the seedings? What do you think is going to be the biggest story this weekend? Let me know in the chat. Let's talk about the 4 versus the 5. And then we'll talk about Detroit and Chicago later. Personally, I think the Detroit and Chicago game is probably the most interesting. But we'll talk about this one first. So number 4 Lansing City versus number 5 Jinga. This is at 7:15 this Saturday in the Lansing City Arena. The Lansing City, after missing the playoffs last year, they will now host a quarterfinal. They welcome Jinga. You can see right there, these 2 teams met earlier in the year. It was Lansing's first home game. On November 8th, and they beat Jinga 8-2. I was taking a look at that one earlier today. Talking with coach and player Satoru Matsushima last week and talking with David Saltzman, both teams believe that they are different teams than on November 8th. And in fact, both teams believe the team that they're facing is different than the team that they faced on November 8th. Even though, it's the same situation playing at the Lansing City Arena. And I would have to agree. I really think both of these teams are different teams than what we saw there. Even though this was, in my head, this was kind of the first game, this game on November 8th. It was the first game that we really saw Lansing City starting to become the team that we felt like, the team that we've seen at some moments this year where they're playing at a very high level and look very dangerous. To the point where, who was it that was on the show a couple weeks ago? I think it was Andres Montes of Olay, who even felt like Lansing City might be number 2 in the league, even though they're sitting at 5-5 now. This to me was kind of the first time we started to see that from Lansing City. But I think they're a different team now. I think I've seen them play in ways that is different than this game and better. And the same thing for Jinga. I think they are a different and a better team. They certainly are better than they were last year. This is the thing that I think is really interesting about Jinga is I believe they actually have a worse record this year than they do last year. It's at least very close. But they're better this year. And I think that says a lot for what the league has been this year. The teams that have joined in, and the existing teams improving, because Jinga's better than they were last year, but they are, their record was, I think, worse this year. So I think the coolest part about this game other than just being it's a an FCS quarterfinal. It's the postseason, which is amazing because everything's on the line. You just throw everything out from the season because win or go home right here, and everyone has a chance. But I think the coolest part is this is the mirror image of a matchup that we saw what would be the second weekend of the season, and it might have been these two teams' first game. I actually think it might have. I want to check that because I think that even puts it to like another level. Let me see here. Scores on the FCS website. Oh, I'm stuck. It's making me look at only the stat leaders. I want the scores. Okay, I have to change the tabs. There we go. Maybe. Well, I'll figure it out. I have to go to refresh the whole website, I guess. I got stuck. It wouldn't let me out. I got pulled down. Okay, here we go. Scores. So Jenga actually opened up the year at home, 8-2 victory over Innovation on November 1st. The next Saturday, Lansing City played their first game and hosted Jenga. So this was Jenga's second game of the year, first road game, and Lansing City's first game overall of the year. Now, remember, we were also talking about this matchup being pretty important for Jenga because now in a new season, we get to see how they deal with being on the road. Because last year, it was two different stories, being at home and being on the road. And we have seen them perform much better on the road this year. I don't know. They did get a victory over Detroit on the road, which they didn't win on the road last year. That was a crazy game, by the way. We'll talk more about that because that kind of plays into where Detroit is coming into for this Chicago house game. But I think what's so cool is that this is, this quarterfinal game on Saturday is the exact matchup, same location, everything as one of the very first games of the year. And we get to see where these two teams are at now, like what a whole entire season has done. And you can literally just put both games side by side and say, this was November 8th. And, this was, what's it going to be, March 14th or whatever it is? What's today? Yeah, March 14th. And you can put them side by side and say, this is what, this year in the FCS did for these two teams. And you can see it on display. I think that'll be really cool. I do think Lansing City is going to win this one. I have a hard time thinking that Jenga is going to be able to come in and beat Lansing on the road. But there were also other games this year that I thought Lansing City was going to win and win handily, and they didn't. We've heard from Coach Matt Alashari that they've had a little bit of a roller coaster at different points. And it seems like it's really been due to a maturity of some of the young players. I mean, some of their starting players are like 17 years old and playing huge roles. So that maturity is a big piece. Someone like David Saltsman has been a lot better this year, even as opposed to last year. He's been doing very well, either sometimes starting and sometimes anchoring that second line. But I do think Lansing City is going to win this game. Jenga are definitely gonna put up a fight. They obviously don't want to lose. I think if you're Jenga, you're coming in and you're just giving it everything you got. You're playing in the best place to play probably in the country in the Lansing City Arena. They had some fans that are relatively close, I think, to Lansing, so they'll probably have 20 or 30 fans and some youth, which will be really great for them to experience. I think it's going to be a great time, a great game. Jenga are probably going to be physical. They tend to be physical. And, that's kind of my outlook. What do you guys think about this game? I think Lansing City is going to win. I think they'll probably win by at least 3. If the game gets away from Jenga, this could be a pretty big difference on the score line. But Jenga, I could see a scenario where they are keeping it closer. They haven't looked great flying the keeper this year, so if they're in that situation, I'm not sure if they will succeed well in that. But last time they did play, they did not have Corey Weisenhunt, so if he's in the lineup, that will probably help them. I think it was Jason Quimson who played in net for them the last game, and he did well, but I think Weisenhunt is better, so that would be a positive for them. So that is the 7:15 game this Saturday. Almost at the same time is Detroit Imperial versus Chicago House. This is going to be at 8 p.m. in Detroit. So these two teams did play earlier this year. It was the only time these two teams have met ever. That was on January 17th, and I think it was 4-6 at the 10-minute mark of the second half. And then I think Imperials scored their final, went up by 3 at that 10-minute mark, and then they got an open net goal, I believe, for their 8th goal. And that was in Chicago. So, of course, Chicago House, I mean, where they're at, if you didn't know they're in, now you know. Midwest did not obtain a home venue for their final 3 games. 4 games, actually, is what it ended up being, I believe. They forfeited their last 4 games. So Chicago House, who was almost certainly, basically consider themselves as totally out, they were able to get in. So they've been given a gift. And man, if you're Chicago House, I think this is like you've been given an opportunity you didn't think you would have. You didn't think you would have any shot of. Probably when you started 0-5, you're thinking this is going to be, most likely we're not going to get into the playoffs. We're going to try to grow as much as we can this year. But now you have an opportunity. You can throw all that away, and you don't have to wait till next year, and you can go out there and you can do it right now. For me, for Chicago House, I think it comes down to a couple of things. One is Rafael Hernandez. I mean, we saw him in the summer last year. We've seen him at moments throughout the season that he can be a very, very good player. And if he is that player, he will give Detroit lots of trouble. He would give any team lots of trouble, I think, if he plays how he's able to play. When I remember seeing him in the National Showcase and the Tours last year, or last summer, I should say, and I remember thinking I was kind of surprised. I was like, is this guy going to be one of the top players in the FCS? Like, am I overreacting to say that he could be among the top? And I really don't think that was. I don't think he has been that player for most of this year, and that's not a discredit to him. I mean, I think he's an amazing player, and he has it in him. I think it needs to be kind of unlocked in him. And so I think that's one of the biggest things. But the other thing to me is if I'm the Chicago House coaches, and I've been able to meet them a little bit, and I don't think they would have a problem with me saying this. But if I'm the Chicago House coaches, I think I'm taking the responsibility of the negatives that have happened this year, and I'm taking this as a golden opportunity, and I am helping my team and saying, listen, guys, we've had some really big defensive errors and mistakes. We're going to fix this. We're going to, replace our structure that has not been good, and we're not going to tolerate any lack of effort on the defensive end anymore, because that's really where their giving up of goals has come from. Like, they've looked pretty potent on the offensive side, throughout the season, especially as the year's gone on. I think they've looked potent offensively, but they have had struggles with defensive effort, and they've had some struggles with defensive structure that I think have caused them to be in positions where when you're watching, you're like, this, I don't understand why they're in this way. They're giving up a really easy shot or really easy, but it didn't really have to do with, I think, the effort of the players. I think it was just tactically, it wasn't the right call. So that's, if I'm Chicago House, that's what I'm thinking. If I'm either Coach Gill or Coach Ramon, I'm like, hey, this is our opportunity, and it's time to take a look at what the glaring issues have been defensively, and we're cleaning this up because it's very fixable. I mean, that's the amazing thing, I think, for Chicago House is they have this great talent. They have several talented players, including Rafael Hernandez, who has the potential to be one of the best players in the league, and they just need that to be like cultivated and given the opportunity to grow, because before coming into the FCS, I think my understanding is that these guys and this team has been around for at least a couple of years playing in youth tournaments, and really they're kind of taking the step from the youth scene to the men's scene. And there's not many players in the team that are like the veteran, experienced type players. And so I think that's what they've been missing, and I think we've seen that. When I was going back to watch this game where these two teams met on January 17th, that was something that I saw in a few of the goals that they gave up. It was like, I can really see that this is a team that is trying to grow from the youth scene to, a men's and competitive adult scene. And there's things that worked before that don't work now. And the teams will take advantage of those mistakes that you make, and you can't rely as much on just being better talent-wise. Like, you really have to to up your effort because the guys against you are giving 110%. Talking with someone like David Saltsman, players like him that are giving so much effort. I mean, I think Detroit Imperial works really hard, and they have those players. Davide Poche is always going. And so they are going to take advantage of those moments when you are those moments that you give the opportunity, give the space. So I think that's kind of from a Chicago perspective. I think that's the good news, is that I think it's very fixable. And even it feels like it's fixable in a relatively short period of time. Talking to David Saltzman earlier, he was saying how over the offseason, Lansing City really said, okay, we're going to improve technically. And that's something that generally you can't just improve in like a week or in a couple of training sessions. It's the repeated over and over, muscle memory, getting your touch, lots of touches, thousands of touches, but something that's like tactics and effort, which to me, those have been the two biggest problems for Chicago House this year. I feel like those are relatively quicker to solve. I mean, the effort one is like, you can do it like that. It's just, the players have to make that choice. But like, that's just a choice. And then tactically, it's just a matter of, putting your players in the right positions and defensively having a good structure that doesn't leave these big gaps open like we've seen. So that's what I think is encouraging for Chicago House, and is why I think coming into this game, it could kind of be, I think it could be a blowout. Detroit Imperial could blow them out because we've seen Chicago House have an experience like that throughout the year, or I think Chicago House could really put pressure on them. From the Detroit Imperial standpoint, they were literally seconds away from being the 2 seed and not even having to play this game. Seconds away. I wrote this down somewhere. I should find out what it is. I think it's 68 seconds. But they were literally seconds away. Where is it here? Okay. Versus Jinga at home, up 5-4, and this was in like a phone interview with Coach Pierce. He kind of brought this out, that they had these two games that they were literally so close to winning. So versus Jinga at home, this was kind of more towards the beginning part of the year, maybe December. They were up 5-4 with 25 seconds left. They were up by 1 with 25 seconds left, and they lose by 1, 5-6. Not only not win, but they lost. Versus Shoreline at home, this was just maybe like a month or less ago. They're up 5-4 with 43 seconds remaining, and then they lose by 2. That last time period really fell apart there. If they win both of these games, they are at 8-2, and Shoreline is at 7-2-1, and Detroit Imperial gets the 2 seed, bye to the semifinal round, and they will host the one of the winners of this weekend. So they were literally this close. 2 games with seconds. The total would be 68 seconds. So 68 seconds. Wow. That's where they're coming in. And I think that Detroit Imperial really believes that they are at least in the top 2 of the league. I think that's what they believe. And I think this is an opportunity for them to kind of show, like, you know what? Yeah, we had these 2 games, we fell apart late, and that has really cost us to even having to play this game. But we can go out and play this game and remove any doubt that Chicago has any chance, and show that we are, indeed a top 2 team in this league, like we believe. I think they have the chance to do that, and then move on and play. Likely, well, I think they would certainly play Shoreline City because there's no seed that's higher. So if Detroit wins, they'll play Shoreline City, and then the winner of Lansing and Jinga will go play Olay. Of course, if Chicago House wins, they'll play Olay, and the winner of Lansing Jinga will play Shoreline. So that's what I think. Detroit Imperial probably feeling like they have a little chip on their shoulder as far as having the record they do, being so close to the 2 seed. We had a conversation a few weeks ago about like who the top couple teams may be, and they were a team that was by some left out of the conversation for the top couple, and I think that they believe that that's where they're at. So this is kind of the first step. But yeah, it's the craziest thing to me is 68 seconds, man. And I know that they've thought about that and they're feeling that. But this is a team that loves to play futsal, and they're going to come out and they're going to play. They have all their players back. Abdullah Saleh was out on suspension for a few games. Davide Depoche was out in the most recent one against Olay. So they'll be at full strength, and they'll be looking to just leave no doubt this Saturday at 8 p.m. With that, let's take a quick look at what the playoffs are actually going to look like from a scheduling standpoint. This weekend, the quarterfinals, it is number 3, Detroit versus number 6, Chicago, and then Lansing City, number 4 versus Jinga, number 5. Whoever wins, it will be the lowest remaining seed that will face Olay, and the highest remaining seed to face Shoreline City. So if Detroit wins, they're definitely playing Shoreline, and the winner of Lansing and Jinga will play Olay. If Chicago House win, they will definitely play Olay, and the winner of Lansing City and Jinga will play Shoreline. So we'll see how that goes. Semifinals in a couple of weeks on March 21st, and then, of course, the finals all day long on March 28th, the Futures Finals, Women's Final, and the Men's Final on that day. Speaking of the women's, this is where they're at. The playing game will be on March 21st. Olay, number 1, Lansing City, actually the number 3. Olay, number 2, and Lansing City, number 3. Made a mistake there. They'll be playing for the right to face Chicago House in the women's final. So that's how those are going to shape up. Yeah, so that's what is the deal for this weekend. Just for fun, while we have a couple of minutes here, wrapping up the regular season, let's take a look at the stat leaders for this whole regular season. Let's see here. Most points, a tie between Alex Mendez and Lansing City, 24 points. That's a goal is a point and an assist is a point. And so over the most points over the whole year, Alex and Jeremy tying. For the most goals, it was Jack Fisher who came out on top at at 16 goals. Actually, Alex was atop there for a while. He got passed up by his brother Aldoni, who was in second with 14 goals. But Alex does also tie with Jeremy Kleppel for assists, most assists at 11. Davide Depoche right behind them, tied with Peyton Trask at 8. As far as points per game, this one is interesting. So the amount of games you play and, the average of how many goals or assists, combined points per game. Ishmael Gomez is at the top with 3.7 points per game, and Alex Mendez number 2 at 3. We didn't see Ishmael Gomez in all the Chicago House games, and he's actually one of those players that I'm really keeping my eye on this weekend. I hope that he gets rostered because he's a great player to watch, and he made a really big difference in some games this year, and that stat kind of shows it. Goalies, the goals against average, Frankie Mendoza leads the league once again at 2.26 goals against average. Aiden Hanchett right beneath him at 3.16, and Andres Montes beneath him. And then the saves and the save percentage belong once again to Emerson Mena of Detroit Imperial. Over 86% of the time, Emerson Mena is making a save, and he has made 161 of them this year. Right behind him is Ethan Castaneda at 141, and Frankie Mendoza just a couple of points behind Emerson at save percentage with just over 83% at the year. I see Kever in the chat. What's up, Kever? How's it going in the U12 Futures Division? You guys will be I think there's some games this weekend of FCS Futures, which is really cool, so check those out on the website. Good to see you in the chat, Kever. Yeah, so that's the kind of how the stat sheet went for this season. Emerson Mena is a player that I didn't mention. We were talking about Detroit versus Chicago House, but of any player in the league, Emerson Mena, he is one of those players that has this ability to swing games at the goalkeeper position with the talent that he has, the experience he has, and he's done that for Detroit, and he is so rock solid for them. and he will be a big part of success in the playoffs for them if they have success. Let's check out the leaders for FCS Women's, and then we will call it a night. The most points will be Mackenzie Rogers for the year, 17 points. She had 11 goals and 6 assists. She tied for the most assists with her teammate Kiara Rucka at 6. And the leader in goals was Sitlali Luna at 12 goals, just 1 goal ahead of Mackenzie Rogers. Most points per game, Kiara Rucka with 3.7, and Mackenzie Rogers right beneath her at 2.8. 4 goals. Chicago House didn't give up many goals. We talked about this last week. Their goal differential spread is bananas. Evelyn Flores had a .26 goal against average. So of the, how many games they play? 6 games in the season. She, has barely given up a goal or 2 across 6 games played. That's some crazy stuff. And her teammate Isabella Gutierrez at 1.8 right below her. Save percentage, 98% for Evelyn Flores. 98%. That is almost every shot is being saved by Evelyn Flores. Most saves to Maya Danik at 130. Carissa Quidor at 121 right behind her. That's going to do it for our show tonight. The postseason will begin this Saturday with a pair of quarterfinals, 7:15 p.m. and 8 p.m. on FCS Live on YouTube. Be sure to check it out. And then the semifinals, as well as the women's play-in match, will be the weekend following on March 21st. And then it's time for the finals already. Just a few more weeks in the season, so enjoy it. I know I am looking forward to enjoying this postseason. Thanks so much for tuning in to the third half. We will see y'all in the next one. Good night.